Welcome. This is the Senior Safety Advice Podcast, and we are so glad that you've made it to a calmer corner of your day. Here, we focus on real solutions, practical help, and the kind of encouragement we could all use a little more of. So let's get to it.
Okay, let me start with something that may feel a little close to home. Most families don't fall apart because of one big argument. They fall apart because little hurts pile up without anyone slowing down long enough to say, "I hear you." And today, I want to show you how empathy can shift the whole tone of a family conflict, even when the situation feels impossible. By the end of this episode, you'll feel more confident handling hard family moments with calm, clarity, and compassion. And just so you know, I've seen this work again and again in my years as an occupational therapist working with families under stress. Now, let me tell you something I've noticed in so many homes. I remember working with a family years ago where the adult daughter was caring for her mother who had moderate dementia. Everyone in that home loved each other deeply, but they were exhausted. And you know what happens when people get tired? Voices get shorter, patience gets thinner, and suddenly something small, like a misplaced pair of glasses, turns into a full emotional wildfire. I sat at that kitchen table one afternoon and watched two sisters spiral into an argument over who never helped enough. They weren't fighting about the dishes. They were fighting about fear. Fear of losing their mom. Fear of not doing enough. Fear of doing it all alone. And you know what shifted that entire moment? Not problem solving. Not logical explanations. Just empathy. One sister finally said, "I know this is hard for you." And you could feel the air soften in that room. If you're feeling this way, you're not alone. I've seen this so many times in my OT work. Family conflict almost always sits on top of deeper emotions. Now, let's walk into the heart of this conversation together. When you're in the middle of a family disagreement, it's easy to slip into defensive mode. We all do it. You feel misunderstood. You feel unheard. You feel blamed. And your whole body tries to protect you with quick reactions. Empathy slows everything down. It helps everyone breathe again. Here's the thing. Empathy is not the same as agreeing with someone. It's simply saying, "I see how you're feeling, and I get why this is heavy for you." So let's walk through a few gentle shifts that can make a world of difference. Okay, first shift. Try to listen for the emotion underneath the words. When someone says, "You never help," what they often mean is, "I'm overwhelmed." When someone says, "You don't understand," what they often mean is, "I'm scared and I don't know how to say it." If you respond to the emotion instead of the accusation, you completely change the direction of the conversation. Now, second shift, speak from your own experience instead of pointing at theirs. Instead of saying, "You're overreacting," try, "I feel worried too, and this situation is tough for all of us." This keeps the door open instead of slamming it shut. Third shift, pause long enough to recognize the shared values underneath your conflict. You likely all want the same thing. You want your loved ones safe. You want them comfortable. You want them treated with respect. When you remind each other of that shared purpose, tension melts. I've seen families go from combative to cooperative in a single afternoon once they realized they were actually fighting on the same team. Now, let me touch on something important. Empathy doesn't mean sacrificing your boundaries. You can say, "I understand how you feel," and still say, "Here's what I can realistically do." Healthy boundaries paired with empathy create healthier families. It helps you support others without burning yourself out. I will say it again. If you are feeling overwhelmed with family conflicts, you're not alone. Caregiving brings up old wounds, unresolved patterns, and stress that pushes everyone to their limits. But you have more power than you realize to set a gentle, steady tone. Your calm energy can help everyone settle. Your empathy can help everyone feel seen. And your boundaries can help everyone stay balanced. So here's the thing I want you to carry with you today. Conflict doesn't mean your family is broken. It simply means you're all human and you're all trying your best in a hard moment. A little empathy softens the edges. A little patience opens the door. And a little compassion can bring everyone back to each other. That's all that I have for you today. Thank you for joining me today. If this episode brought a little calm to your day, share it with someone you care about. Maybe someone who could use a reminder to pause and reflect. You'll find more gentle reflections and resources for seniors and caregivers at seniorsafetyadvice.com. And come back tomorrow for another daily moment of calm, guidance, and encouragement right here on the Senior Safety Advice Podcast. And hey, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel or the podcast yet, go ahead and do that right now. It really helps us reach more people who could use this kind of support and information. Until next time, take care of yourself and the ones you love.
This podcast is part of our mission to help older adults live safely and independently. If you'd like to take the next step, visit aginginplacedirectory.com, where you'll find specialists, helpful resources, and inspiration to make every home your place to thrive.